Sisters, let's take a seat in a circle, hold each other's hands, and listen to some advice for women over 30. Whether you just turned 30, whether you're right in the middle, or maybe you're at the end of your 30s, but you're definitely gonna wanna hear this. So take a seat, grab a drink, and let's go.
To my girls in their 30s, I need to know, is anyone else in this weird stage of life where they're in their lazy girl / it is what it is era, but at the same time also in a glow up era where they want to do so much but you just don't feel like doing shit at all? Like, I'm in this weird stage of life where I just want to sit on the couch, binge watch TV, drink wine, eat all the food. As a millennial,
I am 100% a homebody at this point. Like, there's no other way. Unless I have to go out, I ain't going out. I got everything that I need right here.
I think I'm just tired. At the same time, I feel like I'm in this glow up, boss up era where I have to accomplish so many goals or life is like gonna leave me behind. I don't know what it is, but it's this weird feeling of just confused as shit. Maybe it's just me. Anyone else feel like that?
I'm 35 and I am starting over. And here are 3 things that I recently learned the hard way so that maybe you don't have to. When I say starting over, I mean that every facet of my life is different than it was 6 months ago, except for my career. But I have a new apartment. I have a new business. I am in a totally new life stage than I thought I would be. And that kind of ties into my first lesson, which was throw out your timelines or they will throw themselves out.
Absolutely.
And look, as someone who really wants to be a mom someday in the not so distant future, I understand that when we start talking about timelines, biological timelines are real. So it's hard to throw those out. But I guess what I mean is they say that man plans and God laughs. And boy, does he laugh right in your face when you think you have it all figured out, when you think you know exactly how your life is going to go.
I think it's good if the woman in her 30s, right? I think it's good if you do have your shit together, but it's never perfect. So if you think that you had it all figured out and it's perfect, I guess, like, I'm happy for you, but it doesn't quite always work out. And like she said, the timeline, you cannot adhere to this. We cannot all follow the same timeline. If you want to have kids and at the minute you're single, at least you realize that you want to have kids. That's already an amazing start, that you're not just discarding yourself, or I'm never gonna have kids. By you wanting to have kids and you putting that energy out there, that is an amazing thing. That's a positive thing, that what you should be doing, but you should be focusing every day. You should be just living and taking it step by step without feeling rushed.
At this age, I'll do this. At this age, I'll do this. Because it just doesn't work that way. You're really setting yourself up for failure if you believe in certainty in any sense. So if you have a timeline right now and you are not hitting it, take it as a blessing, because if you do start to hit certain things on your timeline and they are not right for you, you will be redirected in a very intense way, I promise you. I think the biggest comfort for me was when my timeline just, again, got totally thrown out the window, was to sit down and really analyze, why did I want the things that I thought I wanted when I wanted them? And it was honestly kind of revelatory. It was so much more about external forces and also just like my own psychology stuff, as opposed to this deep actual longing for those things in this specific moment. Brings me to my second point. If a path gives you resistance, it is not your path. I was raised that
I am so I believe in faith. Whatever meant to be is meant to be, no matter how, if you try to push, say, and you know, like, sometimes things just don't work out and you try once, twice, 3 times, you're like, or like, for example, let me just say, like, a career you chose and you like tried once and you didn't get accepted, or twice, you like have to understand that that might not be for you, or you think that you want it, but just take a seat and just, you know, try to pick and see why you think. Is it because your parents want you, for example, to make this type of decision or this type of direction or path to take? Is this your maybe boyfriend or husband, or are you doing it because your friends are doing it? Like, why are you taking this path? Just take a seat and think. If something doesn't work out, I'm a full believer it's not meant to happen. You're also, of course, not meant to just give up on something, but listen, like, there will be another door or another path that you're meant to take, and the one that you're trying to push against, I guess, like pushing against the force, like, they're just not it. So just like try to kind of, you know, like sink in and just try to ask why, or like, why is this not happening, or like, why, can you do something else, can you, like, you know, change something, and see if that works.
Had to earn everything and work really hard. And I still don't think that that's the wrong approach. But I think that a lot of times we think that life has to be really, really hard and then it can get good. And what I started to realize is that, yeah, even though life has its highs and lows, and trust me, I've been in a real freaking low, when I am forcing something to work, and there's resistance and the door isn't budging and I'm trying to shove this door open, it's the wrong door. I gotta go to door number 2, which is wide open. And through that door, other doors open.
Absolutely.
Easier. Sorry, I love a door metaphor. So, but basically my point is the things that I've really tried to force, be it relationships or job opportunities or friendships or what have you, things that I have tried to force, even
you're
if
not going to enjoy the end,
have not worked fully in the end.
Exactly, because you're pushing for the wrong reasons.
You might get a positive result for the short term, but in the long term, that resistance is still there. I cannot tell you how many opportunities have come my way, how many open doors have come my way since I've stopped pushing. And since I've just let people or things show me what doesn't work and pivot to something that does. And if you are still stuck on a timeline, trying to force open a door that does not want to open is a waste of your time.
And energy.
Number 3, something that I've learned is to just surrender, which I know sounds a little woo-woo, but I really feel like I was white knuckling life for so long. Like I was holding on for dear life, trying to.
We are taught that you're meant to persevere, you're meant to, you know, I'll tell you why. Like, I feel, especially with your friends, or your co-workers, or sometimes the people who surround you, for the biggest change in my life, which I'm not going to talk in this video. Let me know if you do want to talk. So basically, I have quit my job in December 2023, and I literally retired. I just left, okay? No, I'm not rich, no, I don't have a lot of money, but I just done that. And let me just tell you, how people reacted, it was a real show of their character and of their person. And you'll see that some people or a lot of people or your friends only are your friends because they're stuck in the same boat, or you know, like they're sinking in the same shit, so to say. So as long as you are struggling and you're sinking with them or trying to stay afloat together, they're gonna be your friends, because they're gonna be like, yeah, she's like, they want that joint suffering, you know, like they want to know that you're in the same position, or you're similar to them, or you're kind of in the same environment. And as soon as you decide to like, fuck this shit, get up and leave and shake the dirty water off,
they're like, what? Like, how dare she?
How dare she change something so drastically? Why am I still here? And suddenly they're not there anymore. Suddenly they're not your friends. So that's, yeah. Many of the people, like I said, only want you there until you're struggling and swimming in the same shit. And how dare you change your life? How dare you better yourself? How dare you live a different life or take a different path from them or from other people. They don't understand that, and whether that's envy, lack of understanding, jealousy, or maybe lack of courage, because they don't have that. They're just stuck in a circle because that's what they've been taught to, that's what they've been used to. It doesn't mean it's right. And if you have that fire within you telling me I hate this job or I hate this relationship, it's not right for me, it's draining you, just change. What's the worst thing that could happen? Gonna get a different job? You're gonna be on your own? Surely better be on your own than be with someone who's draining you or at some environment that is draining you.
Control people's actions or what people thought of me or outputs to like job opportunities that I really had no control over. And I can't tell you how freeing it is to just do the things that you have control over and then let everything else go. Like, it's detachment in its ultimate form. And I don't know if I hadn't had
that's called
my whole
living
life change, if I ever would have come to this sense of awareness about what it means to truly just release.
To truly just be you. Not live up to someone else's expectations, not to take the paths that they're pushing you into, just to be you. And once you decide, your life will change, your outlook will change, you're gonna have peace, everything around you will change, your demeanor, your energy, everything will shift and change. And all those people around you not meant to be there, they'll go because they're not gonna deal with that new energy or that new you. They're not gonna accept any bullshit. They're not gonna accept any of the crap. They're just gonna live for you and kind of push that new good energy.
All expectations, release fears, release doubts, and just surrender to whatever is gonna happen next. I hope these help. I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, if you can start adapting
just start
some of these mindsets,
Absolutely.
your life will just change dramatically for the better. I know mine did, even when I thought that wasn't possible.
Yep.
So follow me if you want any more sage advice from a 35-year-old who is totally starting over.
Let's chat about completely rebuilding your life in your 30s. My name's Hannah, I'm 32, and I have been on a very deep healing spiritual journey over the last 2 years that have really brought me back home to myself and my most authentic expression. I feel like
in your 30s, we kind of like, I notice many women have, it's kind of our like awakening decade, I guess. I don't mean in like, oh, we have our career or family sorted. I mean like spiritually, like it feels like it's our awakening. Like we don't give a shit anymore what anybody thinks, or we shouldn't. Like this is our time, kind of. I feel like your 20s are there to make your first experiences, to make your first mistakes, because you kind of live like your home, your house, your mom and dad, and you go into the world in your 20s. You have your first job. Obviously you might have a job before, but like in 20s is like more serious, like kind of like an adult. So you make your first experience, like you start managing your money for the first time properly. You have your maybe like important relationship or friends, or break up of different relationships. Like you gain experience and you gather it all, and then when you hit your 30s, you decide what to do with that information, and you decide of what you want to be, who you want to be, what you're not gonna stand for, and you set the bar and you set the quality. I feel that's what your 30s is or are.
This common misconception that you spend your 20s really finding yourself, finding what you desire, finding what lights you up, and then once you're into your 30s, it's kind of just like smooth riding. You know, you have your career figured out, you have your life figured out, and then your
No.
30s are like this really cool time to just enjoy all of that. I hear that story being played out a lot, and I know that I can't be alone, and I think that there are probably far more people that are actually in the second boat. The second boat is getting to your 30s and realizing you have no clue who you are. That
Yeah.
you worked your butt off so hard in your 20s, chasing that hustle culture and all the things that
Don't
your
do it.
trauma made you believe that you wanted,
Yep.
needed, had to have, are actually out of alignment. And that was my story. So I now am 2 years into my healing journey and am living a radically different
Just
life
healing
than I
all of
was
us.
2 years ago. And I feel like because there's this misconception that you're supposed to have your life together in your 30s, people will just kind of accept where they are.
That's what the narrative they try to push, that you're supposed to have your life in 30s. But I believe that when you start healing, and that's what I mean, in your 30s, you break everything. So you don't have everything set. You start to break even whatever is set already in your 30s. You're gonna break it into little pieces and really unpick and pick the stuff that you really want, like I said. So it's almost, I feel like it's not having your shit together, it's almost you're gonna start breaking it all down to the bare, down to the basics, and building your standards and setting the exact frequency that you want to be in your 30s.
And ride it out for the rest of your life. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to get to my deathbed and think to myself, damn, that wasn't actually the life I was supposed to be living. So I pretty much threw everything in the trash can from my 20s and have completely started to rebuild
Yeah.
myself. I have gotten into alignment with what I really believe my soul is here to do. I trust that my
Same.
desires are my desires and not the desires that I have picked up on social media or from people of influence in my life. And I've really connected to my soul, my most authentic, unique expression in this world.
So
and
did
I'm
I.
rebuilding from there. Let's commend anyone who's willing to do this in their 30s, to have the courage to rewrite the script when you feel like you put so much work into building a certain life. Takes a lot of courage, and I think that more people
does.
actually want that but are scared of what that means, scared of having to give up everything that they worked.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared and just do it. It's just that we've been programmed all our lives, starting from the kindergarten through school. You have to study, you have to work, you have to get a savings funds, you have to get children, grandchildren. It doesn't work like that. That's a narrative that they're selling. It doesn't work like that. Try to change your job. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen? What? At least you're giving yourself the chance to find happiness than living in a numb or unhappy state for the rest of your life. You only get to do this once. Just try it. It took my brain 6 months. 6 months to get away from the narrative that I've been taught all my life, or that we get taught all our lives. 6 months for my brain chemistry to change. I felt a change. It took me 3 months from quitting my job and changing my life completely. 3 months for my brain to even let go of the anxiety, let go of the guilt, let go of the certain things, and I felt the change after 3 months only. For the first 3 months, I didn't enjoy being home. I felt guilty. It was so many things. And after 6 months, I was like, I'm never going back to that. I am never going back to that. Over my dead body, I will go back to the life that I had. I can promise you that.
So hard to build in their 20s. But if you can look yourself in the face and go, okay, this isn't actually the life that is going to fulfill me. I always like to go to that question of like, if I was laying on my deathbed, would this be the life that I'm proud of? And my answer was not yes. My answer was no, this is a life that I built out of, wanting and needing to be loved and thinking that my worth came from certain places in my life. So here's to rebuilding yourself in your 30s. It is the most beautiful thing I have ever done. It's never too late to change your life. It's never too
Never
late
too
to
late.
choose
It's never too late. You think it's too late now? I promise you, you're gonna feel younger and better at 50 than you do now. And when you're 50, you're gonna look back at yourself in your 30s and you're gonna think and feel so guilty that you didn't do it then. And then you're gonna start to change yourself at 50. So you might as well do it now. When you're in your 40s, you're gonna look back at your 30s and you're gonna think, what the hell were you thinking? I feel better, I feel younger. There's a phenomenon that people say that they feel younger at 50. There's like a 50s like a thing, I don't know what it is, than they do at 30s. So trust me, don't waste this time.
different avenue and to completely rebuild yourself. So here's to rebuilding ourselves in our 30s so that we can live a happy, fulfilled, aligned life.
So now let's go ahead and listen to someone in their 50s giving advice to us ladies in their 30s.
50 years old, and if you are younger than me, you might want to save this video because I'm going to be sharing with you a few things which I wish I had understood a little bit better when I was in my 20s and 30s.
Oh, I want to hear this.
So where do we start? I think the biggest, single biggest piece of advice that I could give to you is that you are never too old and it is never too late. And I say that as somebody who has changed career a couple of times in my 40s, big career changes. I had a baby when I was 43 years old, and it never occurred to me at the time that I was too old to be doing that, and you know, how would I manage?
That's not old, 40.
Because why
43.
would you let those little niggling doubts creep in? That is only going to hold you back. So how do we put this into practice? I guess what I do is I sort of like live my day-to-day life as if I'm like frozen in time at say 30, 35 years old, and anything that I want to do or any decisions that I make, it never enters my head. My age never comes into it. I never think, oh, you know, should
Yeah,
you
I
be
think
doing
you just need
this
to
at your age?
forget about your age, just do
growing
things
old
that you
is
want to do.
a privilege, and as you start to get older, that becomes more and more apparent as, you know, you lose friends and people of a similar age to yourself, and it really does hit home how short life is. Maybe you have a bucket list and now you think to yourself, well, some of those things are never going to get ticked off because I'm just too old. Stop. Do not think that way. Train for that marathon.
Yeah.
Book that skydive.
Because when you're
honestly.
older, you're going to think
You've
you
only
should have
got one
done it
life,
now.
and we may as well enjoy it because we ain't going to be here a second time. Well, not that we know of. You can live your life as cautiously as you like, and you are
That's the
still
point.
going to make mistakes. Things are still going to happen that are out of your control, and bad things are going to happen, good and bad, and you can't control any of that, so why try? Grab each opportunity that comes your way. Do not care what other people think.
Oh,
Enjoy your
most
own company.
important.
You are the only person that you can rely on for the rest of your life to be there for you. So make sure that you love yourself and you treat yourself well, and that you like yourself.
Absolutely.
There may be so many things in life that you are missing out on because you are holding yourself back, be that because of your age or because of worrying about what other people think about you. And
If I had to say what's the worst thing, the worst out of many on the list that you could do in your life, but more so in your 30s, because in your 20s I don't think it matters that much because you think you have a lot of time. Like I said, you're learning and you're having different new experiences. But in your 30s and onwards, I think the number one worst thing you could do is care what anybody thinks. If you constantly have to surround yourself with a lot of friends or a lot of people, and you're not good on your own, or you're not good in solitude, or you just trust me, you need therapy, or just go and try therapy and see how that changes your life. I don't need anyone. I am never bored. I could just be on my own and do so many things since I've changed I don't need anyone. I don't have any friends at this point in my life. I am honestly telling you, that's why I created this channel, because I wanted to create this perfect kind of, it's just perfect for me, like an introvert and like the person who now decided like this is my standards, I won't accept any less, I don't need friends. Like I'm so self-confident and I can occupy myself always and find things to do on my own. Yes, I have a family, like my husband and like my child, but like at this point in time, I can tell you that I have no best friends or real friends, because of certain things that led to this moment that they kind of done or whatever happened, that I'm like, yeah, like I'm not gonna deal with that. If it's like, if it happens, the only friends or relationships that I will have is that 100% pure, based on truth and openness, and just bring nothing but positive energy into my life. Like that's the standards that I have set. So living or thinking that what's up, they don't care. They truly don't care. If you think like, oh, you're scared what others think, they do not care. Do you think you're going to be on your deathbed, or then people are going to be on deathbed thinking about you? They don't care. And if they bully you, they're just not happy with themselves, or they're projecting onto you. Then people are going to blink, look at you for God knows how many seconds, and never remember you again. So what's the point?
My advice is just stop. Just do it. Honestly, what have you got to lose? So going forwards, whatever that thing is that you want to do, whatever that change is that you want to make, I want you to remember those two things. You are never too old, and it is never too late.
Yep.
I am 50.
For all the beautiful girlies turning 30 this year, I just want to give you a reminder that this is exactly where you're supposed to be. Your life currently, as it is, it's exactly where it's supposed to be and nowhere else. Embrace this moment, because you're about to enter your 30s, and I'm telling you, you're going to be so much more confident. You're going to have way more money. You're going to be telling
Confident
people
part.
no way
Confidence.
more often. You're going to speak your mind more. You're going to own your truth more. And guess what? You're going to eliminate the people that are not for you much quicker. And you're going to meet the people that are for you much faster. You're going to start going to therapy if you haven't already done so. And when you get to therapy,
have you seen the pattern that all of us are healing, that all of us in therapy? I'm actually on the waiting list for my therapy. Like, we're healing. This is it. Like this, I feel like is the best decade of like to heal yourself and like to set the boundaries. Like, look, all different people are telling this advice, and all of us have, it's almost same. It's almost the same advice, or very, very, very similar. So like there has to be truth. You have to think that there has to be truth to this, that we're telling you this. Like it has to be truth, because look how similar our answers or advice is.
you're going to realize just how much more healing is required for you to navigate your 30s. And then you're going to be so happy that you didn't make any shitty decisions in your 20s that you now have to correct or live with in your 30s. Your 30s is going to be the time of your life where you get to travel the world, that you get to meet the amazing people that you want. If you are not married, if you don't have any kids, this is the period of your life where you're going to prepare for those things. If you're not in your ideal career, this is the period of your life where you're going to prepare for that career. If you don't have the best friendships, this is the period of your life where you're going to prepare for those friendships. So please, I'm just giving you the encouragement to know that this next decade is going to be the best.
Oh my God,
I'm telling you, it's
agree.
much better.
So
You like the amount of love you have for yourself is so
crazy.
much more.
And you know the crazy thing is, I always ask myself why we don't know this in our 20s. If I knew everything and the wisdom that I have now in my 20s, I'm I would have been here, I would have been there. But then I realized, if all of us knew this and had this wisdom in our 20s, it wouldn't be a journey and it wouldn't be life. That's why it is like this. That's why we do certain things in our 20s. That's why we do certain things in our 30s and we're gonna do certain things in our 40s. I'm sure if I watch some advice from women in 40s, I'm gonna be like, what? I'll be doing what? And I'm also 100% sure that I'm in my 40s, I'm gonna be like, yep, this has happened. So I'm telling you that everything this lady said, I'm in my 30s, it is true. And if you're skeptical, it will happen. This is it. We cannot know everything in the past, you know. We can't have all this there because it's supposed to be like this. We're supposed to go through them loops and jumps to achieve. It's called stages in life for this reason.
You'll still make some mistakes along the way, but you bounce back so much more quickly. You will give your heart just as you did before, but you're going to be a little bit more cautious. You're going to use more discernment. You get better. You get better at all of this. So
level
please,
up.
Don't feel too overwhelmed. Don't get too anxious. And don't feel like you need to be doing something that you are not prepared for. You needed to get through the 20s in order to get to the 30s, because guess what? You're going to be ready. You're going to be prepared. And this is what all of your 20s was about.
Absolutely brilliant. Oh, you know what? I felt quite like emotional at like some points, like watching this. Like I won't cry for some reason, but honestly, like I'm telling you that all this is just spot on. Some of you might just be coming into your 30s, and I'm telling you that all it like is true. Like me, I'm in my mid-30s, and like already I've kind of covered a lot of this, or like most of this. I feel like I'm already in the works, like into the therapy, like my confidence, like friends. I already filtered so much in my life that I'm like, oh, this, I can tell you with guarantee that this now is the best time that I have ever been in my life anywhere. And if someone tells me, would you want to go like when you're 23? Like, oh my God, I was so pretty, I was popular, I was like, do you want to go back to that? No. The peace that I have now, the wisdom and the peace for my soul that I have now, I would never, ever go back. I wouldn't go back. Like, I'm just telling you this straight up, I would not go back. So don't worry. And my best advice for you now, choose peace. Learn to say no. You're gonna say no much more often, and it's gonna get easier. And set your standards, but that will come naturally. You will see your standards will be raised. You're gonna start to align with yourself, and everything will become easier. This is like your pro level. Your 30s is where you level up. If you just turn 30, don't worry, you'll get there. You literally just walked into it. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment of what advice you would give for people who just turned 30s, or what advice kind of helped you. I would love to hear and chat with you guys. Please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Mwah.